Range Tour, Northern Range. Most people think the location of this bow tree marks where the Northern Range ends. It actually extends further. Let's take a quick look. Here is where the Northern Range actually ends. If you look closely, you can still see the remains of the stairs that led to the target stand years ago. In 1950, when the Sagittarius bowmen lost their range, they approached then PRA Club President Ed Taylor regarding their predicament. As the Pasadena Roving Archers already had the right to use this northern area, Sagittarius was given permission to set their range there. Once established, for a little while, the city of Pasadena was able to boast of a unique opportunity within yards of each other. An archer could shoot at animal targets from unmarked distances here in the northern range, field archery in the southern range, and shoot the York and American rounds with the Pasadena target archers, who were once located south of where the casting club currently resides. By 1987, the Sagittarius bowmen became one club with the Pasadena Roving Archers. The Sagittarius influence is still evident today at PRA's monthly 3D round, which is open to the public. Archery in the Lower Arroyo dates far beyond the 1900s. It has been practiced for centuries, beginning with the Hahamunga Native Americans. As you stroll along the path in the northern and southern range, you'll find bow trees such as these seen here. If you look carefully during this walking tour of the northern range, you'll see cacti. This same flora can also be found on the first logo of the Pasadena Roving Archers, designed by Charter Club member Stu Foster. The PRA was organized in November of 1935 and founded by Henry A. Bitzenberger, inventor of the classic Bitzenberger jig and the first PRA president, and Matilda Babe Bitzenberger, four-time National Women's Archery Field Champion. Other charter members include Stu Foster, designer of the PRA and CBH California Bowman Hunters logos, and the designer of the first National Field Archery Association ring. Brothers Pokey and Jess Quayle, John Duale, Leonard Thompson, Sid Doyle, Ralph Olson, and two others whose first names are not recalled but whose last names are Mold and Olson, no relation to Ralph Olson. Currently, the Northern Range is permitted for PRA-sponsored 3D archery events only, according to the range use schedule found on the City of Pasadena and PRA websites. During these events, temporary targets and signage about the activity are used. No archery is allowed in the Northern Range at any other time. Southern Range. The Southern Range consists of 29 target bale stands, as well as 6 practice butts. These practice butts are located at what's commonly referred to as the main range. This is the site of the second clubhouse, built by the Pasadena Roving Archers in 1945, but destroyed by arson in 2002. The Lower Arroyo Master Plan makes provisions for the rebuilding of another clubhouse. As you walk further down the range, you'll see a posting of the current range rules, as well as signage that states that dogs must remain on a leash at all times. The main range and Bill number 2 can be accessed by walking up the hiking path and curling to the right, or by walking up this path. Bordering the edge and along the length of the range are signs informing the general public of the presence of the archery range. Unless participating in a PRA event, no one without a current city credential card on their person should be on the archery range. Main range. Each of the 6 practice butts has a marker indicating 20 yards distance. The main range is where first-time and returning archer education classes, along with the PRA 300-round monthly tournament, are typically held. The unique natural layout of the Lower Arroyo is well suited to the challenges of a roving field archery range. That can also bring some perils in the terrain, so be sure to stay on the walking paths and return lanes, and mind your footing while on the range at all times. Many target lanes have an exit/return lane that lead you diagonally to the entrance of the next target lane. But there are a few target bales like number 2 and number 3 seen here, where you will need to walk directly back from the direction you came once you've pulled your arrows. In 1936, the PRA began the process of turning the Southern Range into a field archery range, making the city of Pasadena today home to the oldest continually operating field archery range in the United States and the world. You'll notice that each target lane has small circular round plugs. These markers indicate the distance, typically in yards, and how many arrows are to be shot from that location depending on the type of tournament you are competing in. The Southern Range is an NFAA certified range, meaning that it has been inspected and meets the requirements set forth by the National Field Archery Association. The archery range is maintained by the all-volunteer, nonprofit group, the Pasadena Roving Archers. Though the city does give an allotment towards the total cost of purchasing and refurbishment of the bales in the Southern Range, that allotment only accounts for roughly 17% of the total costs, not including the volunteer labor. The remaining 83% of the bale costs, plus the cost of maintaining and replacing retaining walls, bow trees, benches, tables, stairs, exit and return lanes, and shooting lanes for the Northern and Southern Range, are entirely paid for by the PRA. And the labor that goes into repairing and maintaining the range is provided by the PRA volunteers and friends of the range. Any donations are always welcomed and can be made at www.rovingarchers.com. The Pasadena Roving Archers would also like to pay special thanks to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America, whom over the years, like so many PRA volunteers, have so graciously donated their time, energy, and resources into work projects to help beautify and maintain the archery range for Pasadena and her guests. To the right and left, you'll notice a maintenance path. This path is to be used solely for the setup and breakdown of tournaments, bale maintenance, classes, and other PRA-sponsored events. At no time is this path to be used by an archer as a means to move from one target lane to another. Here stands target bale number 8. It is the only uphill shot in the Southern Range, with a furthest distance marker set at 65 yards. Field archery, also known as roving archery, was first started in the mid-1920s when several states where hunting is common, such as Oregon and Michigan, built small field ranges. To more fully develop their hunting skills, bowmen would do a lot of stump shooting, which was shooting arrows at various distances at various objects, such as rocks or, you guessed it, stumps. In 1934, a group of archers, including John Yount and Walt Wilhelm from around Redlands, California, began the refinement and definition of a roving range. It was after shooting at the Redlands Range that the founders of the PRA decided to make a field range of their own in the Lower Arroyo. On the range, you will find green, red, yellow, white, black, and blue distance markers. The green markers indicate the distance in meters and are primarily used by target archers who are preparing for international rounds where meters are used instead of yards. All other colored distance markers indicate the distance in yards. The white markers indicate the distance one shoots in a field round. The red markers indicate the distances that are shot for a hunter round. The yellow markers are the distances shot for the animal round. Blue distance markers indicate the farthest distance a young adult would shoot, which is no more than 50 yards. The black markers are for the cubs, those 11 years and under, for the animal, field, and hunter rounds. The farthest distance for the cub archers is 30 yards. The cub distances are also used by members new to the PRA who are looking to familiarize themselves with the field, hunter, and animal rounds. This is called the rookie round. Although the National Archery Association was organized in 1879, it was not until 1940 that the NAA voted to recognize and to cooperate with the NFAA, the National Field Archery Association, in helping to organize, popularize, and standardize field archery rounds and rules. On the exit and return lanes, you'll find pavers with green arrows like these showing the way to the next target lane. If you come across an arrow paver that is misplaced or covered up, we ask that you help reset it to the correct direction and remove whatever debris might be obscuring it. In 1940, a group called Instinctors Inc., which used a little skunk emblem as their logo, was formed as a nonprofit organization. This group formed in response to the then encroaching threat of the pin sight, which had made its way across the arroyo from the Pasadena target archers. The organization was formed for the betterment, education, and advancement of instinctive archery. All who joined the organization were required to sign a pledge not to use any sighting device whatsoever for field archery or hunting. The president was Howard A. Matheson, vice president Dr. Delmer Pletcher, and secretary-treasurer Ken Moore. In his letter accepting membership in the Instinctors, Howard Hill added this postscript: "Horse racing is the sport of kings, but archery is the king of sports." Target bale stand number 13 is one of only 2 bales we have on the range with a shooting distance of 80 yards. There is no hunting in the Lower Arroyo, and the use of broadhead-tipped arrows is prohibited. Anyone caught using broadheads in the Lower Arroyo is subject to a criminal investigation and a hefty fine. Their usage is not only unlawful, they also cause tremendous damage to the straw bales and target stands, as can be seen here. The damage created by using broadheads comes at great expense to the PRA and its volunteers in the cost and time of purchasing, replacing, and repairing each damaged bale. In addition to broadheads, other prohibited items include crossbows, slingshots, throwing knives and hatchets, BB guns, pellet rifles, paintball guns, airsoft, firearms, spears, and atlatls are all prohibited in the Lower Arroyo Archery Range. Prior to the founding of the NFAA, field courses were laid out to suit individual club terrain. As a result, there was little similarity between courses in the yardage or the number of targets. It was only after a great deal of trial and error before anything resembling the present course was built. The Redlands Archers Club alone rebuilt and redesigned their course over 7 times. The targets first used in roving archery were hand-painted by club members and were always pictures of animals like buffalo, deer, elk, bear, fish, and/or fowl. It was some time before the black and white field and hunter targets, along with the various animal targets we are familiar with today, were developed as a standard for field archery. When the Pasadena target archers first became interested in field archery, for a couple of months no mention was made of shooting style. It was supposedly understood that field archery was a different style of shooting, and the target archers who wanted to try it would soon enter into the spirit and shoot instinctively. Yet, such was not to be the case. One day, a top target archer with a sliding sight completely upset a tournament, not only by shooting what was then a top score, but by taking so much time to make sight adjustments that he slowed things down from a fast walk to a slow crawl. The end result being that all sights were barred from field archery until the organization of the National Field Archery Association. To the right of target bale stand number 17, we can see poison oak, one of the natural perils on the range. Poison oak tends to come in leaflets of 3, in small oak-shaped leaves that grow on vines. Leaves are typically bronze when first unfolding in February to March, bright green in the spring, yellow-green to reddish in the summer, and bright red or pink from late July to October. The leaves may also look oily or shiny. This comes from the toxic oil urushiol. Please be wary of poison oak when collecting arrows that may have overshot the target stands. Here marks the entrance to gain access to target bale stands 14 through 17. It is extremely important to remember that this is an exit lane and is not to be used as a means to access target bale stands 14 through 17. During the 1940s, in the first national wave of field archery popularity, invitational shoots at the range numbered in the hundreds. And in 1949, the Pasadena Roving Archers became famous across the nation by hosting the 4th National Archery Tournament. The attendance at this event, including spectators, numbered some 1,500 people. Several firsts occurred at this 1949 tournament. Arrow weights in the hunter round were eliminated, the men's expert bowman class was added, and this was the last national tournament with a single division. It had been proven that even using a single sight mark on the bow was an advantage, and the instinctive archers were refusing to take part in such tournaments. Because the NFAA tried to keep things status quo, they lost hundreds of members that year, the first setback the NFAA ever had. After this, it was decided in 1950 to make the next tournament a 2-division affair, with all sights, even one mark in the freestyle category, and nothing but bare bows in the instinctive class. This proved to be such a successful move that in a single year, the NFAA regained their lost membership and hundreds more. On April 30th, 1950, the PRA hosted the first archery money shoot ever held in the United States. The top prize was $500. It was called the Southern California Field Archery Open and required building a complete new range consisting of 56 targets, with shooting positions of numerous configurations, including one high in a tree. A major part of the Lower Arroyo Park was used for this rather auspicious shoot. The entire tournament was underwritten by Howard Matheson. This also included the production cost of a film that was made to cover the event. 26 of the country's top archers were invited to take part in the tournament, which was observed by some 500 spectators, some of whom were seeing archery for the first time. The tournament fee for each archer was $20. On Sunday, June 25, 1952, the Southern California shoot was held on the still new Sagittarius Range, with a large number of archers participating. It was called a novel shoot, shooting at all sizes of deer targets. This appears to be the first time the word novel was used to describe a competition. We are approaching target bale stand number 22, the second location with an 80-yard distance marker. In mid-1965, the Pasadena Recreation Department proposed that the PRA hold an archery instruction program. Beginning on October 9, 1966, the club started presenting an archery clinic at the range on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. For those 1966 novice archers, the clinic included how to construct equipment, arrows, bowstrings, and how to shoot the bow and arrow properly and safely. The only safe access to target bales number 24 through 26 is from the entrance here at target bale stand number 23. On May 1, 1975, Pasadena President Joe Caldwell signed an agreement between the Pasadena Roving Archers, Inc. and the Pasadena Department of Parks and Recreation to conduct Saturday archery classes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. year-round in an ongoing program. Another natural peril to be wary of on the range is the presence of bees. Bee hives have been found in the northern range, as well as here between target bale stands number 23 and 24, and to the right of 28. Although it may seem as though leaving your paper target up for someone else to use might be helpful, it ends up cluttering the range and is technically littering. Littering is also unlawful in the Lower Arroyo, so be sure to remove any targets or any other trash items you may have brought with you when you leave. Please don't leave anything behind except good memories when you leave the Lower Arroyo Archery Range. The Pasadena Roving Archers' own Wright Huff worked long and hard in the 1940s, helping Doug Easton develop the exact requirements needed for the aluminum arrow. 1942 marks the year when the first tournament was won using Easton aluminum shafts. Besides the filming of the first ever money shoot in 1950, the Lower Arroyo and the PRA have a long history in cinema. Here are a few examples. 1938's swashbuckling adventure Robin Hood, featuring Errol Flynn, was filmed in the Lower Arroyo. Most notably, the scene where the film's hero Robin Hood competes in an archery tournament. This used to be the site of the Pasadena Target Archers. In 2006, then PRA coaches Mike Burnham and Ben Webster trained actors Zoe Saldana, Sam Worthington, Laz Alonso, and Peter Menza in the art of the bow and arrow for the sci-fi epic Avatar. On Sunday, June 12, 2012, the Pasadena Roving Archers, in conjunction with the City of Pasadena Parks and Recreation Department, held a youth archery tournament in Pasadena's Central Park, in conjunction with the release of the Disney Pixar film Brave. The Lower Arroyo Archery Range, the PRA, and its many instructors and coaches continue to be sought after for filming and training for webisodes, commercials, television, and film. This marks the location of the last target bale stand of the Southern Range. As a reminder, poison oak has been known to be found behind bales 26 through 28, and bees to the right of 28. When shooting a tournament in the Southern Range, exit from this point, head to the right, and follow the exit lane to the hiking trail. Remember, this path is a designated exit lane and is not to be used as a means to access the range. Here, you will also find a posting of the range rules.